Sonia Gandhi, the president of the Congress party, has responded to Natwar Singh's interview to Headlines today. In it, she has said that she will write her own book and that the entire truth of the matter will be revealed. She went on to say, "Why should I feel hurt? I've seen my mother-in-law riddled with bullets. My husband was assassinated. Do you think this will upset me? Is this the first time something like this is being done?" she asked. Javed Ansari is Headlines to... I beg your pardon. We're going to wait a few moments before Javed joins us on the phone line. But Sonia Gandhi responding with some strong words to claims made by Natwar Singh when he spoke with Headlines today's Karan Thapar. Remember, Natwar Singh had said that it was Rahul Gandhi who persuaded his mother not to take up the post of Prime Minister in 2004 after the Congress won the elections with the backing of the UPA. Sonia Gandhi at the time had said that it was her inner voice that prompted her not to take up that position. Natwar Singh denied those claims. He said it was in fact Rahul Gandhi who was fearful for his mother's life, especially after the murders of his father and grandmother. Remember, Natwar Singh had also said earlier that Sonia Gandhi would frequently access files of the government through Pulok Chatterjee, who was the principal secretary to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, among other claims that he made in that interview. Javed Ansari, our executive editor, now joins us live for more on this story. Javed, a strong response from Sonia Gandhi. What was the context of her statements and where did she make them?
This is not a statement. She spoke to me while she was leaving Parliament. I happened to meet her and I asked her, what is your reaction? She says, I will be writing a book and then a lot of the truth will come out. I will be writing a book and a lot of that truth will come out. She repeated this twice. Then I asked her pointedly, I said, what is your reaction? Do you feel betrayed? Do you feel hurt? She said, do you think I should feel hurt? Do you feel I should be pained? I saw my husband was assassinated. He gave his life. I saw my mother being riddled with bullets. My mother-in-law, I beg your pardon. She says, do you think these small things, I should feel hurt? He says, this is not the first time that something like this has happened to me or is happening to us. And let them, I'm not going to be fazed by such things. Obviously, but having said that, the pain on her face was visible.
And you know, the pain would be visible, Javed, also because when we go back to what Natwar Singh himself said about the meeting between him and Sonia Gandhi earlier this year, he said that Sonia called him one of her closest friends, that he was one of her closest friends, and that she used to share information with him that she would not even share with her own children.
Well, certainly. So that sense of betrayal or that sense of sadness of being let down by somebody who was very close to you was evident. She didn't say it in so many words, but you could see it on her face. I have interacted with Mrs. Gandhi on several occasions, and even the way she reacted to this, she didn't want to give this too much of importance, but at the same time, the sense of betrayal, the sense of being let down by somebody who once enjoyed her confidence was absolutely evident.
And it wasn't just her confidence, was it? I mean, Natwar Singh, going back as far as Jawaharlal Nehru, when he was a probationary officer in the IFS, he served with her mother-in-law Indira Gandhi. He was a key aide to her husband Rajiv Gandhi. So the bitterness over here would be quite something.
Yes, it is. And this is what happens when there's a falling apart of friends or people who were once very close. There's always a sense of sadness, of being let down, of betrayal, and of bitterness. And partings are always bitter. Unfortunately, so many years after Mr. Natwar Singh ceased being an associate of Mrs. Gandhi, he's chosen to write this book. And a lot of people who, not just Mrs. Gandhi, but a lot of people who have worked with Natwar Singh are a bit surprised, a bit puzzled and intrigued as to why he's done it. Now, he's well within his rights to write a book. Nobody can argue or debate that. But certainly, this is the feeling that I get speaking to congressmen, for his former ministerial colleagues, and people who formed a part, who worked very closely with him in his time, during his time in the Congress party.
When Javed, when you talk about the bitterness and the parting or the subject over which they parted, Natwar Singh was also asked about the Volcker Commission report, which seemed to implicate him in the oil for food scam. Sonia Gandhi rather unceremoniously throwing him out of the party and the government at that time, about a decade ago. So in some ways, Natwar Singh may be thinking in his mind, well, it's time that I put my own version out there of events.
Yeah, maybe this is payback time. Maybe this is what he feels. But if you go back to the time when the Volcker report became public, I was around and I covered that. And at that time, the BJP was in the opposition and they were paying for Mr. Natwar Singh's blood.
Yes.
Mr. Sonia Gandhi and the Prime Minister asked him to leave the government. But the kind of allegations and charges that were laid at his door by the BJP is something that Mr. Natwar Singh and the BJP also need to look at. I mean, it's Mrs. Gandhi. What could the Congress, what could the Prime Minister have done? There were serious charges, and a lot of congressmen are saying that. But what could we have done? There were serious charges. The opposition was begging for blood. They had paralyzed Parliament, and therefore the honourable thing to do was to order a commission of inquiry and ask the minister to demit office, and that's what they did.
Javed, let's go back to Sonia's statement to you. And for viewers who are just joining in, help them understand what she said. And you were of course there. You saw the body language of Sonia Gandhi when she made that. Help viewers get a full sense of the context in which she said it.
Look, she seemed extremely pained, extremely hurt. She didn't want to voice that pain. She didn't want to put it in so many words. But she said, I will. She first tried to deflect it, saying, "I will write a book, and once I write the book, the entire truth and will be revealed." Then I asked pointedly whether you feel betrayed, hurt, pained at what has been done. And that's when she reacted. She said, That's when she became a bit emotional. She said, "Do you think I should be pained by these things? I've seen my husband being assassinated. I saw my mother-in-law body being riddled with bullets. I've seen much worse in life, and this is not the first time that something like this is happening to us. I'm not going to be fazed by all this. People are free to do what they want."